Welcome to the Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Shawa Hoho. All right, quick story. When Josh was like really young, he couldn't say his name.
Oh my God.
It was Joshua Horford, so he would call himself Shawa Hoho. It was pretty cute.
Thanks, bro.
Pretty funny. All right, so this episode today, we're going to be talking about, well, first, it ties in a good amount to the last episode. So if you haven't listened to the last episode, which is episode 7, go back and listen to that, and then come back and listen to this. But today, episode 8, we're talking about why being a good teammate / being a good person is what matters most. A lot of it is because, dude, well, that's not the only reason, but first and foremost, no one likes playing with like a selfish jerk.
God, no.
It's so annoying, like egotistical. It's me. Everything's about me. Like, I'm better than all of you, not just in the sense of skill, but I'm just better. You're inferior.
Yeah.
I'm first class. You're second class.
And they don't even realize how like douchey it is.
Super douchey, right? It's like, man. Oh yeah. For the people who've seen the Temptations movie, right? When David Ruffin comes up, he's like, I'm David Ruffin, and these are the Temptations. And everyone's like, oh my God, this guy.
Brother.
Like, dude. But that's how a lot of players are, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good look in terms of valuing you being relevant because you're good at a sport in the moment versus like treating people well and building bonds and relationships that will last a lifetime, right? One is much more valuable than the other. And you can actually be both, right? You could be a great athlete who's also like a great person who people like to be around. And obviously not everyone's going to like everyone, but you could at least be respectable, you know?
Yeah.
You could be someone like, I don't really like you, but you work hard, you treat people well. Like, so what am I going to say?
All right.
Type thing, you know? The next thing I put down was talking about like, you know, if you're good at what you do, but you make people feel terrible, and this touches on like what we were talking about before, like your impact only lasts with that team, that organization, that community, as long as you're still providing them with like a high level of entertainment, right? But as soon as you're not entertaining them in the way that they want to be, like by putting up the numbers or dunking or whatever it might be, you fade out into nothing.
Yep.
A lot of times, right? And then that comes with its own like slew of problems, like the depression, anxiety, all that stuff, and that's stuff that people would face and people do face. You know, they aren't even in positions like that, but I feel like it's even more common with the players that I've known that have had success on, you know, super high levels, like even the ones that were really good in high school and didn't go on to college. Like they go through that like period where they have to find their identity again. Like, who am I? Like I was that person. I was that athlete.
Right.
And now I'm what? You know? That's why I've always tried to, you know, focus for myself, but also for like you and, you know, the other kids that we work with, to focus on like building your identity separate from basketball. Like you are Josh, and you happen to play basketball.
Right.
But that's not who you are. That's something that you do. Right. And a lot of players are like, you know, it's everything. It's my life. And it's like, yeah, but that's going to end eventually.
Right.
Right. And it has a tendency more often than not to destroy people. So focusing on, you know, trying to be a good person, to be a good teammate, to build those relationships. It's something that's lifelong, right? It's something that's like truly valuable. You know, people have these goals that they're striving for, and it's like, but I got to get there. A Jim Carrey quote, and I know a lot of people think that like he went off the deep end, but I don't think he has at all. I think he's just being like brutally honest. based on his experience, being like super, super famous and rich. And his quote was, I don't remember it verbatim, so I'm like, don't kill me for it not being perfect, but it was something like, I wish that everyone could, get all the money and the fame and everything they ever wished for,
Yeah.
and realize that it's just not the answer, right? It's not. That's not it, right? I truly think personally that, the meaning of life is to, create connections, bonds with people, and, to help each other, get through those ups and downs. Because, like, no matter how well things are going for you, there are going to be times where, you need someone. Like, it could be like, man, but you have all the money in the world and you're famous and you're this and you're that. And it's still, there are going to be times where you doubt yourself and you're insecure. And we talked about that in the last episode a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it matters to have those genuine people who are around you because they want to be around you, not because of what you do, right? Not
Or
because
what you
of
have.
or what you have,
Yeah.
or what you can give them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for you, right? And I feel like that's not always the easiest thing in the world to find, right? But I feel that a lot of people have good intentions, and I feel like even on a messed up level, I feel like some of the people that try to take advantage of like other people on some level in their mind have shifted things around, right, to try to get to the point where they've justified why they're doing what they're doing, and they mean well, but it just ends up being kind of messed up. I know. It sounds strange.
Yeah.
It sounds strange, but I don't know. I just feel that that's the truth. Like, I don't think that there are many people who are just purely evil. Like, I feel like people are truly trying to, on some level, even if it's totally messed up to us, are trying to do what they think is best.
So they're delusional, maybe.
They can be, but we're delusional to them, maybe, right? Because of the way that we go about things.
Yeah, I guess.
I know it's not the easiest thing to comprehend. Man, I'm trying to think of this Mary Shelley quote that's like perfect for this. It's like,
No one knows who that is.
no man. She's the author of the original Frankenstein. She said, "No man is evil because he chooses to be," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm gonna butcher it. One sec, Josh. Talk while I look this quote up.
Dude, do you remember the Bath bomber?
Who?
The guy in Bath that like blew up the schoolhouse?
Oh, dude, that was forever ago.
Yeah, but remember the message he left?
No, what'd he say?
It's some, I feel like it's something similar to what you're like trying to think of.
Dude, come on, man.
Now I want to look it up.
You do?
It's like criminals aren't born, they're made. Like,
And I believe that to a certain extent. Oh, yeah, here it is.
to a certain extent.
Here it is.
No one's born a criminal.
She said, "No man chooses evil because it is evil. He only mistakes it for happiness, the good he seeks." Great quote.
Yeah.
Great quote. And I believe it.
It's a little eerie, but yeah.
It is, but on a certain level, I do believe it. Like, people mean well. People mean well. So, sorry, we really went off there, but it does connect, right? So stay with us, right? So when it comes to being a good teammate, being a good person, I feel like a lot of it falls into the hands of coaches to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what they will allow players to do, what they will tolerate. That's why building cultures is so important. Like, good cultures,
All right.
right? like I feel like Coach Beeline, for example, it's just easier to speak from personal experience because it's something I went through. I think he did a fantastic job of building a culture of like hard work and accountability and integrity at Michigan, right? We don't have like the best relationship in the world, but I mean, I really do respect and I do care about the guy, and I think he did a great job. And for the most part, it was actually him breaking one of his culture rules.
Yeah.
Which was the main reason why I transferred from Michigan, but we can talk about that in another episode. But him breaking that was really like, that's like the main reason why I left. But so many coaches will allow players because, they can score a lot or they're really athletic or, for whatever reason, they'll allow them to do what they want instead of holding them accountable and, giving the kids that are doing things the right way, that are working hard, showing up, being good teammates, doing all that, they don't reward them for that type of behavior. So, a lot of times it will change kids. It's like, well, I did everything right for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop doing it because I'm not getting anything out of it, which I don't agree with, because I feel like if you're going to do good for good's sake, you're going to do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. If you're doing it just to get a reward, then it's not really genuine. So I call kids out on that too.
It poisons the team though, dude.
It does poison the team, and coaches need to be more aware of that. A lot of coaches will sacrifice culture for winning, and in the short term, it can work. In the long term, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like at some point, right, it's gonna come back to get you.
Yeah.
You have to value like doing things the right way, holding players accountable, and rewarding players for doing things in a way that is, respectable, versus players that are just really talented and just do whatever they want. And we've seen it in some very, very personal ways. And it's toxic, it's cancerous, it destroys teams, it builds up resentment.
Yep.
So it's really, really on these coaches and parents, right? It's on parents to not be delusional and, oh, my baby, he's so perfect. Like, dude, your kid's a monster.
All right.
Sometimes they are. And it's okay, but someone needs to tell them. And I have a tendency to be too honest with kids sometimes, at least maybe. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I know parents think it's a bad thing. And you've told me I've gone a little too far sometimes. But I'm looking out for these kids because I want them to realize, like, dude, you can only do this for so long. Like, you're good now. You can do it, but eventually it's going to come back to get you. Yeah. People are going to remember the way that you made them feel, right? And you didn't apologize for what you did. And maybe someday you'll apologize and you guys will come to terms. And I feel like there's a very human element to that. And I think people who genuinely change, can apologize and actually through their actions change. I think that they do deserve, second, third chances sometimes.
For sure.
Like I really feel that way. But at the same time, just finding a way to be honest with yourself and hold these kids accountable. So parents, coaches, I mean, we talk more about coaches, but dude, parents are like, oh, my kid is an angel. My kid's an angel. Like, they can do no wrong. And then it's like, if you just held your kid accountable a little bit, it would probably make the coach's job easier. And in turn, it would help that kid.
And the team.
Exactly. And the team, right? Because that resentment that builds up over players like that who can do whatever they want, talk back to the coaches, have horrible attitudes, take horrible shots.
Play no defense.
Blame their teammates for everything. Play no defense, but they can just score the ball or something. Right. And the coach plays them a ton.
Yep.
And it's just like, dude, at some point, your team's going to turn on you. Your team's going to turn on you. Or the program's going to turn on you. Or players are going to stop wanting to, come and play there because of the reputation that you're building. Right? So I think it's super important to, value the culture and doing things the right way. Yeah,
no doubt.
Right? And I guess I wrote down that quote. I don't even remember who said this quote. I'm full of quotes today. It was something like, I think it was a Maya Angelou quote. It was something about how, people won't necessarily remember what you said but they'll always remember like how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like something like that is almost a little bit relevant. And just stick with me on this stick with me on this like train of thought. But like with the Kobe thing,
Yeah.
right? Kobe passing not too long ago, and you see how many people were emotionally impacted by that. And it wasn't necessarily, and obviously it was because he was such a great athlete, but because of that, he was able to inspire people to, you know, maybe like raise their game or
Change their habits.
Something.
Yeah.
I mean, it across multiple sports, right? It wasn't just statistic based. It's not like people were crying like he averaged 26 a game
Right. He dropped 81.
in 07 or you know, I mean, they were like, he impacted me and I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get impacted necessarily by like you know, celebrities or even like death like that, but that's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of people that felt like a family member died, it's telling, right?
Yeah.
Like he made people feel a certain way. Like it's not necessarily about what he did, right? Because even if you think about these games, like these collection of games, there are very, 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 very few people in the world who could be like, oh, well, you know, that game on January 27th, 2008, Kobe did this and that play and this play and that. Like they're not remembering like these individual plays or even necessarily these individual moments. And sometimes it is that, but like as a collective, but they're remembering how his existence affected them
Mm-hmm.
personally. And it's just very, very interesting,
Yeah.
right?
It's impressive.
It's impressive, right? It's telling, but I'm not saying that, you know, and because he was so big, not a lot of people can impact people on that level in that type of emotional way. And I'm not saying that, you know, everyone has to, but I'm just saying to strive to, you know, make people feel good about themselves and it happens in like roundabout ways because, you know, sometimes you break people down to build them up, but are you breaking them down in a constructive way
Mm-hmm.
or are you breaking them down in just like a demeaning way?
Right.
Like, hey, you know, your shot's really off. Like, these are the things that we're going to do to fix it. Or, dude, you suck at shooting.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Saying the same thing
Mm-hmm.
two completely different ways. Right? So a lot of times it's just the way that people go about these certain things.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's a dangerous, dangerous game to play, to put all of your eggs into the, you know, I'm an athlete. This is who I am first and foremost. Like that basket, it's dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it ends up putting people in a very, very vulnerable spot when that's their entire identity, right? I was gonna tell a story that I heard from I don't know if I can even say his name. I don't want to deal with it. Huh?
Really?
I don't know. Should I? I don't care. But NBA player, right? Hall of Famer, NBA champion, won a few Defensive Player of the Years. If you know basketball, you probably already know who I'm talking about. He last year we were all at a dinner party, and he started talking to a bunch of the younger guys, myself included, just about his experience and we're in the G League, and he's like, man, he goes on for like literally an hour talking about, man, you got to get up to the NBA. It's the life, the cars, the jewelry, the women, like the fame. Everyone loves you everywhere you go. Like this stuff down here, it'll build character, but that stuff up there, that's something to work towards. Like you want the money, you want people to love you, cheering your name everywhere you go. Like I'm not lying. He went off on that same tangent over and over, just repeating some variation of that for an hour. And then at the very end of his story, he throws in a quick 30 seconds of, yeah, but when I was done, a lot of those people that used to call me and hit me up all the time and give me all that love disappeared. And, I felt like I didn't have any friends, and I fell into a deep depression, and I was in a horrible, horrible place. And then I was able, fortunately to, find some people that cared about me for, being more than just a basketball player. And, I'm feeling good again. But hey, You got to get to that. You got to get to that NBA life. And I was like, oh,
Jeez.
I'm thinking in my head, like, hold up. I was like, you should have talked about that.
Yeah.
I was like, you should have talked about that the whole time.
Right.
Because you're setting these kids up for the same thing that you went through, and you mean well by it, because you're saying these things because you know that's what's going to keep people's attention and keep them engaged. And I even brought up that fact to a couple of the guys I was playing with, and they didn't even like, they were like, what? I don't remember that. The cars, baby. Like, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, dude, that should have been the entire talk, dude. Like, building real relationships with people who care about you for more than you being a good athlete or being able to give something to you, right? And I think it's super important for kids, parents, coaches, right, to make these kids know, to let these kids know that they're loved regardless of performance. Like we talked about last episode, basing a good game off of preparation, effort, and attitude, right? And if your kid prepares and they give a good effort and have a good attitude, even if they didn't play a single minute and they were just cheering and staying engaged, that's a good game.
Yeah.
Like, and if they want to be good and their goal is to play more, then they need to work towards that. But I hate seeing parents, and I hate seeing how like scared kids are to go out and know that their parents aren't gonna, give them any type of affection, right? Because as human beings, like especially like as guys, it's like, oh, affection, that's soft, that's warm stuff. But like, dude, every human being needs like affection, and they want to feel valued. So when players are only valued for what they're able to do, like statistically, or what they're able to like give to parents, like it could be like fame, like it could be whatever. It's just super sad.
Yeah.
Super sad. So if you're listening, right, and a lot of parents do like love their like their kids regardless, but like if your kid prepares, puts in good effort, and has good attitude, they did a good job, right? They did a good job.
All right.
Right? You need to reinforce that. You need to let them know. You need to reassure them. You need to tell them you're still proud of them, that you love them.
For
like,
sure.
Because that stuff, dude, it messes with kids. Like, and then you get to be like a robot, like a numb, unfeeling robot. Like, for example, like our parents didn't go to any of my games until I was like in high school and the Star. So I was just like, dude, that's why I used to tell you guys all the time, like, dude, don't come to my games. Like, I don't want you guys have never come to my games because I was never playing. Like, you never came before. Don't come now.
Yeah.
What they did, right? Kind of. And it's just like, dude, it just feels, I don't know. You just get to a point where you just get like numb to it, and you don't want to. And it goes with like, they're not getting too high, not getting too low. Because then if you embrace that and accept that and say like, oh yeah, this is the way it is, like it's great. Once it gets taken away again, right, then you're like, oh, it's horrible. So I never let myself get, like in my mind, I always told myself like, this is like temporary. Like they're not going to do this forever. Like the day is going to come where they disappear again. Right? Just because I'm not going to get too high, and then I'm not going to get too low, right? And even though like some people are like, oh man, that sounds so sad, like it's really not, but it's just the reality, right? And a lot of parents do that to their kids, right? I love the parents that, their kids are on the team and they don't play that much, they still come to every game and are involved with everything and still have a good attitude. Like, dude, those are like great parents. Like, that's awesome. Keep supporting your kid. Let your kid know that you love them regardless of, what they're doing statistically, on the court.
Right.
You love that they're such a good teammate. You love that every time they're, like one of their teammates comes out, you stand up and, shake their hand or you clap and you're genuinely like happy for your teammates having success. Those things are so important. And yeah, it's on kids to, adopt and to actually do those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really on parents and coaches to make that a part of, the culture.
Yeah, they need that guidance, dude.
Dude, they need to know that we value this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're proud of you. We love you. Like, when you do those things, like, it's just as important to us that you do those things as you getting into the game and scoring 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like that's so important, and it's missing. And parents and coaches have a ton of power to change that, to shift their own mentalities, and to like literally change these kids' lives and make them feel better about themselves. Because so many kids just feel horrible anytime they don't do well statistically. And like, I've literally had kids be like, I just want to die. Like, I want to die. And I'm just like, dude, that's like the saddest thing in the world over a freaking sport.
Yeah.
Like, we love the game of basketball, and it's, given us lots of opportunities, but it's a game, right? Letting these kids know that they're important, that they're valued, that they're loved. That's really what's like most important, right? And to just being a dead horse, but just reinforce that. Let them know when they do things the right way, when they prepare, when they have good effort, they have good attitude. That's where it's at. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it forever. I don't think it's gonna change. It probably won't. Right? I might add something to it, but it won't be statistics based.
Right.
Right? So if you have any questions, concerns, you think we're absolutely off base and out of our minds and how dare we, or hey, I agree with that, or what are some more ways that I could support my kid, reach out. Gmail, blueprint.athletes, or preferably Instagram, also blueprint.athletes, right? We get to all the messages. We'd be happy to talk with you, help you out in any way that we can, right? Josh, anything else?
I got nothing.
I got nothing else either. All right, this has been the Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. Thanks for listening.